President Trump is going to be hosting Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell at Camp David next week for a strategy session. So is the GOP a little more unified heading into 2018? The GOP fundraiser, Noelle NIkpour and Kat and Matt are back with us. Noelle, it's always hard to predict this because just when you think they're coming together, you get another Trump tweet or you hear about something Mitch McConnell said and it all falls apart again.
Well, you know, the most important thing is we got the tax reform bill passed through, which shows unity among the Republican Party, which was, you know, on a rocky start because we couldn't get unity in the beginning. But what that does, looking further down the line for 2018, is it's the optics of unity. And this it shows the bigger picture when it comes to the donors. I mean, the donors are going to be looking at funding some of these races. And if there wasn't unity, there wasn't an appearance of unity, some of the donors may be sitting back on their checks, not willing to fund a lot of the 2018 races.
Well, Noelle,
so now that's been released.
What specifically happens next? I mean, there is a split just between Ryan and McConnell, apparently, on whether it's entitlement reform, fixing welfare, et cetera, or whether you're going to focus on the infrastructure plan. Apparently, Mr. McConnell wants infrastructure, Mr. Ryan wants welfare reform, and the president is going with Mitch McConnell. So there is a split there.
Let me tell you something. My gut feeling on this, and I've already had some back conversations yesterday on this, is I think it's going to be infrastructure because Donald Trump has already said he wanted it. Mitch McConnell's wife, I think Elaine Chao, she is the transportation secretary, and this is going to get bipartisan support. I think Americans are tired of the feuding amongst the parties, and I think that this is the one key where we can get bipartisan support. And with that said, Ryan, I think, should have come out of the bag in the first place instead of health care, and I think he should have introduced infrastructure. So a lot of people are a little irritated that he didn't come out of the bag with it. So now the second time around, I think we have we have a chance to get something through with bipartisan support. Well,
Kat, you may not have to choose entirely about whether it's infrastructure or entitlement reform because there's a lot of entitlement reform that you can do without Congress. There's $60 billion of waste in Medicare alone, waste and fraud, according to a GAO report. The most recent one. It's probably worse than that now. So if the president just does the way he did with deregulation without Congress, he did most of that on his own, he could deal with just getting the waste and the fraud out of a lot of entitlements, whether it's Medicare, Medicaid might even be worse than that. And that would save billions of dollars and would put a win in his corner.
I think that would be great. I would love to see him do that, but I think he's all gung-ho for infrastructure, which I understand because that's more of the kind of thing he used to do. Sometimes you get a new job, you miss your old job, you want to kind of do some of your old job and your new job. Makes sense. But I would sure hope there's not unity in the GOP for this infrastructure bill because I thought the GOP, or at least they say sometimes, that they're supposed to be the fiscally conservative party. They're talking about $1 trillion here and with no talking about how they're going to actually get that money. So I would kind of hope, just for my own fiscally conservative soul, that I would see a little infighting when it comes to spending this kind of money.
And, Matt, there are a lot of conservatives. If they just focus on spending money in 2018 instead of saving money through entitlement reform, a lot of conservatives are going to be ticked off. I mean, Kat's not alone. There are a lot of free marketeers, members of the Freedom Caucus, et cetera, who are not going to like that.
They made this bed by voting for tax reform because the precursor to tax reform was an agreement by the GOP, including written by Bob Corker, to increase the deficit by $1.5 trillion over a decade, to increase spending. We've already increased the deficit up to $666 billion in the first 9 months of Trump. So it's built in. It's going to be a spending spree this year. There might be some people who are claiming to be upset. Trump wants to work on infrastructure, DACA, and Obamacare reform. He's going to work with Democrats.
But, Noelle, he is a guy who works hard. He's up early in the morning. He goes to bed late at night. He could do both. I mean, he could do these. He could do the DACA thing. He could do the infrastructure thing. And he could also fix our public service sector, which is just out of control. There was just one figure that I read today. Kim Strassel had a terrific piece on how he himself, the president, could fix a lot of the problems we have with our federal workers. 29,852 federal employees make more than $190,000 a year. That's more than all 50 governors in the United States. That's almost 30,000 federal employees are making more than all of our governors.
Well, that's a fantastic point, and that was a good article, by the way. But I will tell you, look what he's done for job creation. Look how many jobs in the private sector, not government jobs, but look how many jobs in the private sector. Look at the markets. Look how they're reacting, you know, to what he's been doing. So I do agree that I think he can work on all these issues. I mean, obviously he's up at 3 a.m. tweeting things, and he's very involved and he's very passionate about it. He lives to work and he's living to do his job. And I think that that's what you're going to see. I think you're going to see him now. He's got his stride. He's got his feet wet. I think he now knows kind of, you know, how to navigate through these political waters as a businessman. This was kind of foreign to him. So now I think he's got the rhythm. And I look for 2018, I look for him to get really serious about navigating through other bills and getting it passed and roping it in.
Okay, let's just hope government doesn't get bigger. It should be getting a little smaller. Guys, thank you very much.